Hello everyone. The lesson for today is reviewing adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. Here are the steps that you were taught. First, you find a common denominator and change the numerator. Second, you add the numerators and keep the same common denominator. And finally, you reduce your answer if necessary. Let's see how this works. In our first example, we have 1/2 plus 1/3. You have to figure out what is the common denominator. In this case, it would be 6. So let's change our numerators. What did you do to 2 to get 6? You times by 3. That's what you do to your numerator, so this becomes 3. Same thing to the other fraction. 3 times 2 equals 6, so 1 times 2 is 2. We have 3/6 plus 2/6, and when you add the numerators and keep the same denominator, you get 5/6. Here's a subtraction example. 3/5 minus 1/4. We look and see our common denominator is 20. So 5 times 4 is 20, so 3 times 4 is 12. It's a subtraction problem. 4 times 5 is 20, so 1 times 5 is 5. Let's subtract our numerators. 12 minus 5 is 7. Keep the same denominator, so 7 over 20 would be our answer. Now here's a neat trick that I will teach you. I consider it the shortcut method. I'm going to show you how to add and subtract fractions without finding a common denominator. Let me explain the steps and then I'll show you 2 examples. First step, you cross multiply. This becomes your new numerator. The second step, you multiply the denominators. This becomes your new denominator. And finally, as with all fraction problems, you reduce if necessary. Here's our first example using the shortcut method. You may notice this looks familiar. It's exactly what we had in the beginning. And so I just wanted to show you how we'll get the same answer. So if you remember from the few steps I just showed you, the first step is to cross multiply. We're going to multiply diagonally. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. Notice it's an addition problem, so we're going to add. Now let's do step 2. Multiply the denominators. 2 times 3 is 6. And now we just solve our problem. 3 plus 2 is 5. And our denominator is 6. And if you noticed, that's the same answer we got in the first problem. Let's look at the shortcut method with a subtraction problem. Cross multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. 5 times 1 is 5. It's subtraction over, multiply your denominators. 5 times 4 is 20. When you subtract 12 minus 5, you get 7. The denominator is 20. 7 over 20. So now you see how to add and subtract fractions without finding a common denominator. I hope this helps you next time you're faced with this situation.